All right. Well, hello and welcome to all of you out there in Twitchland. This is Wasabi One, and of course, yet again, I am joined by my ever awesome co-lead in community development funness. That's Mr. Abraxas. Scott, are you here?
I am indeed. Hello, everyone.
Scott is joining us today from Laptop Land. Unfortunately, he's having a little technical difficulty with his computer, but just because he sounds weird doesn't mean he's any less cool.
I'm. It's fine. I'm English.
It's funny English. All right. Well, welcome everybody to the CLOGCAST. Yes, this is an open Q&A with us. We're going to talk a little bit about what we have been doing, a little bit about what we're going to be doing, and just highlighting some special things. Today's episode will probably be at a maximum of 30 minutes. So we hope you've brought your questions. We hope you're excited to hear what we have to say. And let's just go ahead and jump right in, Scott. This week was a big week for the community development team. We have officially released Build 266.
Woohoo!
Yeah, indeed. And 266 was definitely a fruit of many people's labor. We want to take a moment to really thank everybody on the community development team. I don't have that giant list in front of me. It is big.
Oh man, it's so big. We have such a huge team on this thing. It's brilliant, though.
Yeah, and all of the people on the team put in lots of time, especially our testers too, coming in at the last minute and doing one more big play test just to run through everything one more time. And the feedback we've gotten from you guys, the community, has been huge. We have really appreciated all the comments. People, here's the one I love the most. The phase gates with arrows, okay? I've been pushing to get, some sort of directional something or other indicator for phase gates since 180 or something like that, right? And so we finally get it in because it was in NS2 Plus and I loved it. And like the first comment about phase gates is all, oh God, how do I turn this off? So we can already tell you we're working on implementing an option in there for you guys for the next build that'll allow you to toggle that option off or not. But we love that kind of feedback. Thank you so much letting us know those kind of things. We want to be able to make the experience as comfortable for everybody as possible. Some of the other things that people have been saying is that they just really appreciate us taking care of some of those bugs that are just annoying that have been around a long time, like the IP spawn AFK bug.
Oh man, that one really, really annoyed me on public servers. I'm so glad it's fixed.
Yeah, and I think I loved the best that people were then jumping on saying, okay, so what if I clogged it? What if I did this? And then our own playtesters jump in and they're like, okay, well, we put a bunch of armories around it. Don't do that.
Oh, those guys, they're always messing around, but it's good because that helps find, bugs that we can fix.
Absolutely. And one thing to tell you guys too is in the future we'll be streaming more of the playtest so you can kind of get a better understanding of what happens during a playtest. I think some of the scenarios that we put up, people don't really realize how funky we go with the game just to make sure that things are working right.
Oh man, I remember hours and hours of literally just walking around against the wall of Summit before release. That was that was an interesting time.
I think my favorite pre-release test was when we were testing arc performance on the server, and we ran about 100 arcs up to Atrium.
I remember that. Yeah.
I
Oh man.
mean, talk about killing your server when there's a crap ton of stuff in a room.
It was like, oh my god, there's a nuke about to go off, and then no, it was the server.
Yeah. All right, well, let's talk about some of the highlights of 266. Obviously, there's been little fixes and things changed on a lot of the maps. One of the ones that has been most praised by the community happens to do with tunnel placements. A lot of gorge tunnels had some areas where you'd think you could place a tunnel but couldn't. That's been fixed, which has been really cool. Thank you, Samus, for working a lot on a lot of those areas. Also, we want to talk about the insight updates. If you've been watching a lot of competitive casts lately, obviously a lot of those are taking place with NS2 Plus and the comp mod. One of the really neat features of NS2 Plus that myself as a caster and others have really liked is the addition of welders and upgrades next to the player names. Those have been added in, as well as some of the highlighting features of dropped weapons and things like that. So it's little upgrades to Insight. And I think one thing we can kind of spoil, Avi may not be mad at me for this, but we can spoil for 267 is we are working very hard to implement a long coming Insight 2.0.
Yes, we've seen the work that Hughes has done in the background, and it's really awesome. Him and Rant, actually, both of those two have been doing amazing work. So yeah, the plan is to try and get it in for 267 if possible. I mean, just with any development, it might slip, but we're not going to release it if it doesn't work, So, well, the aim is to get it in for 267. So yes, Wasabi, that's fine.
Yeah, and I think that's something to really highlight here, Abraxas, is obviously, we kind of surprised people at how quick 266 came out, but we had been working on it for a little while. One of the other things about it, though, is we work really hard to meet our goal of everything that we put on our list to be implemented. I believe we had 2 items that did not make it into this patch. And we made the decision before our own internal lockdown of adding new features that, we're just not going to hit the target with that, pull them out. Don't waste time on it. Focus on what's already there, testing it, making it stable. And that's really big part of what we do is we're making sure that, one, we're not biting off more than we can chew in the time frame that we have set up for ourselves. And no, we're not going to publicly say what our exact time frames are. I know that some people were kind of like, oh, I noticed you're mentioning like soon on the forums or possibly this week. If we feel very confident based on the testing we're doing, we're going to give you guys a couple of days heads up in those contexts because, we want you to know that there's something coming and be ready for it. We especially pushed hard for server admins to do the same thing. They got an email the night before that there was a patch coming the next day. Our patch testing was all done a day in advance of the release. So we had all of the release day
completely done the day before.
Yeah, we had all of release day to make sure that the Facebook posts and the Twitter posts and the news posts and everything was coordinated to go off pretty much all at the same time. So, we're doing everything we can to make sure that you guys are as informed as possible. And one of the ways that you can stay informed is through the forums. If you guys haven't noticed, our CDT team is very large, and
you can see that by all the blue on the forums now, wherever you go. It's like a lovely shade of blue almost now.
Yeah. Especially in the 266 forum release, you can see that we've got a bunch of information there from people posting, and then we're immediately jumping in and answering questions or saying, hey, that's a great feature, let's look at that. And so we strongly encourage you to, give constructive feedback. We want to know what you want in the game. We want to know how
definitely
we can
get involved.
Yeah, we want to improve your experience. We want to make it so this is a game you continue to tell people about, or even tell your friends, hey, that game that you stopped playing? Well, because you're a loser, we made it even cooler, and now you're coming back.
Exactly. Because tons of people bought like 4-packs and gave it to their friends, and their friends don't play because they're like, oh, it doesn't run on my machine. Well, now it pretty much runs on all gaming machines because it's come a long way since release. So always try and encourage your friends to play NS2, especially now as it's going to be kick-started into full gear of development again.
Absolutely. So again, check out the forums. One of the other things that people can do that, I don't think we pushed out enough, is you can access our public Trello. This is everything that's being worked on currently. And you're able to vote on some of the things so that we can really see where the priority is, so that if we're getting close to crunch time and something's maybe not in or working, we can really see that, oh my God, this has 20 votes from the public. We really need to work on getting this feature in. It'd be a big win for us.
Yep. We didn't have that much on there for 266 because it was a relatively small, in quotations, patch. So we wanted to be careful. But yeah, you can vote. You just need to register on there and on Trello, and you can vote up things, and we'll take notice. And it's also a good way of you working out whether a patch is nearing release, because if the pillar that says done is basically full, then you know that a patch is just around the corner.
Absolutely. I think that was probably the clearest indicator to most people that knew about this link was there was nothing left in doing, except for the 267 wish list or, waiting to be tested in Mantis. So this is a great way for you to get an idea of where we're at in the patch process, what we're working on. Again, voting up items that you feel are really important to be given priority over others. Because again, we could fix a million things in the game, but there could be the million things you don't want fixed. So we're relying heavily on the feedback we get from the forums, from email, from messages, and from
And
feedback in game.
we're going to be asking for more and more feedback as well, because we want the game to be enjoyable to use and to get everyone involved. So over the coming months, we'll be doing stuff like maybe redesigning the main menu, and we'll have a few different concepts up on there. And it'll be up to you guys to vote on which one looks the coolest, which one's the best. Stuff like that that you can get involved with that will really help us out. That'll be coming down the line as well.
So as we've said from the beginning, we are really trying to work with the community as a whole. That's the whole point of this team. It really is open development. I mean, obviously there's some stuff that we don't that we don't
We
put
can't
out in the
talk about.
public.
Don't talk about Fight Club. Don't talk about Fight Club.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also because until we have our proposed list for the next build, signed off by UWE, we don't want to get your hopes up about a feature that might not go in just yet. So there is stuff that's not public yet, but as soon as we are able to, we put it out there and we let you know about it. So just so you guys know that. So I think this brings us into a great point. Build 267. What is next? What is it that you guys want to see? We have a huge list. I mean, 267. If you thought 266 had a lot of really cool fixes, 267 is, well,
Man, I'm already scrolling for like a minute and I can't scroll fast enough.
It's very large. We don't. I can already tell you, our own internal deadline does not include kind of a couple week turnaround like we did with 266. We want to make this a larger patch. We want to make sure that it's right. We told you this, guys, time and time again, that stability and as as bug free as possible. If it's
Exactly.
if it's an existing bug, that can necessarily be okay to keep it in there if we can't get it fixed. But we don't want to introduce any new bugs. And so there's a lot of stuff.
We need to be careful as well around this time, because the Steam sale is going to happen within the next month or so. So we don't really want to release a new patch that's not been fully tested before then, because we know that it's happened in the past where a new patch has gone out just before a sale, and then it's like, we have to run around and try and get it all fixed up. So we're going to avoid that completely, in the fact that if we release a new patch, we're going to make sure it's as stable as possible. And we can even hold back if there's a sale due, just in case. We just want to make sure we don't affect anything like that.
So one of the things that we really can go into, because they've been great additions to the game, is there are more features from NS2 Plus coming into Vanilla NS. And there's lots of good reasons for this. A lot more kind of, customization for the individual players, a lot more features that almost help, especially rookie players, maybe understanding things a little bit better. And so we are working really well with Mindasp to implement more of those things. And he has just done such a great job with that mod. I mean, why wouldn't we take stuff from it? It has really kind of improved a lot of the game for a lot of our competitive players and higher end players. Obviously, we're not looking at full adoption of NS2 Plus, but there are a lot of great features that will be included over time.
The things that make our public players that improve their play will definitely be brought over from NS2 Plus, because Mendasp and Remy D have both done a fantastic job on it.
Again, we're working on fixing a lot of just kind of like the minor little things that have been in the game for a little while, such as little animation glitches or odd placement of logos, or like the female thumb. the axe
Sam
thumb.
Asteroid has a particular thing where any tiny little thing out of place, it really grates on him. So he has a nice little personal list of things he'd like to get fixed in the next patch.
There's a lot more bugs and things like that as well. I think one thing, do we want to talk about that one structure thing that we want to rework?
Yeah, if you want.
One of the big things that I'm sure a lot of people have been introduced to here and there in different games is whips. Maybe not doing what you want them to do, maybe being odd, maybe being crazy, maybe just not doing anything. We are proposing to actually rework whips pretty much from the ground up.
Yeah.
And kind of rework their code. Matzo is taking that one on, and as many people in the community, Matzo loves to figure these things out. So that is something that is being proposed for 267. So just keep that in your minds that whips could be awesome. Again,
at some point.
at some point, yeah, it may not be 267. It could be beyond. Also, working on tools for the editors and stuff like that, trying to get those things improved as well. Again, more stuff for maps, fixing little things on maps. I can tell you that there has been some discussion about including more maps in an official build at some point. But obviously there's a lot of discussion that has to go on with some of the community mappers about where their map is and as well as a certain standard for what Unknown Worlds wants to see visually from a map as well. So stay tuned on that. There could be some exciting stuff anytime along the way about that. So now we're going to go ahead and just open it up for free questions. Anybody in the chat that's watching have any questions about the community dev team, about what we're working on? Maybe something you'd love to see in the future. We have a big wish list of things for Beyond, some bigger tasks that could take significantly more time than one build process to do. What do you guys think? What is your feedback so far? We'd love to hear from you. And if you don't have any questions, that's awesome too, because that just saves us a lot of time. And that means that we're maybe doing things right.
Maybe. I think the forums have kind of been very kind to us. Everyone's been very nice with 266. I think the biggest thing that didn't work for us in the patch was that the community dev team badges are actually in the game but not working, and that's pretty much the only thing that we didn't get working in this patch that we wanted to. And I'm pretty impressed that with the whole team that managed to get all that done.
Oh, this is a great question from Ren26. How do you test the success of each patch? So, Ren, I'm going to ask you a follow-up question to that. Do you mean success as in stability, success as in pre-release, success as in sales numbers, success as in player retention? Is there a group of the community that is higher priority for the changes? No, I don't think that there is. Obviously, we know that a very large majority of the current player base is competitive based, but we can't completely focus the game development around just one group. So, we need to still account for rookies. We need to still maintain, the best experience overall for any player. Obviously, the concurrent player numbers are in between 450 and 500 right now. And there are still a lot of players that are high level, that are kind of, mid-hour range, or even rookies still joining servers. We're trying to make sure that they get on and have a better experience from the moment they start playing, understand things a little bit better. I think one of the things that we've all talked about a lot and still just trying to figure out how the best way to approach it is a tutorial system that is a little more interactive and helps explain things a little bit better than just watching a few videos. Especially because, some of us have been to PAX and, Eurogamer and things like that. We can definitely attest to the fact that when you sit next to someone and you just explain a few things to them, it's amazing how much more they take off with the game and how much they enjoy it. And figuring out where that disconnect is with what's currently in and finding a way to patch that and make it a better learning experience, something quickly that can help them, is definitely something big on our list. When that will happen, I'm not entirely sure. But then your follow-up, success as in, was it worth the time? I absolutely think it was worth the time.
I agree. Definitely worth the time, if not just to get our pipeline and all the players in place for the future. Because now that we've got 266 out, we've learned a lot of what to do, what not to do, just the whole process of getting a patch done. For a whole community team that's spread across the world, it's quite a challenge, and we managed to pull it off. And doing a single patch, even as quick as this turnaround was, has taught us so much about how to do 267, 268, and eventually towards, big monumental patches, which is the aim.
Absolutely. A great question here. Luck, not skill. Hive skill factor levels. How do they work? No one seems to know. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I have no flipping clue how it currently works.
I don't know either.
But that's okay, because Mardigan had put up some interesting information on how they think that things should happen. Samus and Lucas took it on.
Andy said something that he didn't want too many people to know, if I remember. I heard something like that. It was supposed to be like arbitrary or something.
But there is a whole new package being worked on in the background. We don't know when it's going to come in, but we'll be better able to explain Hive skill system soon, we hope. It's something that's being worked on. We want to have a system that makes sense, a system that people can understand, and a system that allows us to integrate more awesome integrated vanilla features in the long run as well. Do we have any other questions from our wonderful public? I've seen this on the forums too, and maybe Avi, you can help a little bit on this. The commander badge. No one knows the requirements for sure. Do you have to be on Hive-enabled server? Does Hive use data from NS2 stats?
If I recall the thing is, you have to be on a Hive-enabled server, and as a commander, you have to win 10 hours with wins, and it's 20 hours with loses, if I remember correctly.
Right. So you don't just play, say, 10 hours straight, wins and loss.
No, it's not just 10 hours. It's 10 hours of wins or 20 hours of losings, and then you get the badge. And it has to be on Hive-enabled servers, which means they have to be whitelisted. And not a lot of the servers where they've got like 10 billion mods on them, those ones aren't usually whitelisted. So if you play on the big ones with like the 42-player servers or the 28-player servers, they're probably not going to give you your badge. You'll probably need to play on a 24-player server or less, and a vanilla one basically.
And maybe that's one of the things we can work on this week. I can try to assemble a list to put on the forums of servers that we do know that are Hive-enabled, even with some mods, so that that can help you a little bit better as you continue on. Many are wondering if the file not found error gets fixed when servers load workshop maps, or rather fail to do so. If you switch your server to a mod map, if it does not have a current version, it should download automatically if your map cycle is loaded correctly, meaning that it has the actual mod number in it. So yes, theoretically it should work if you just switch to another map. However, I do believe in some situations, if it has just downloaded a new version of the map, when you try to switch and there's another new release that's out, it may not work.
You can always clear your cache. It's in your app data folder and mods, and then just try re-downloading it again or rejoining the server, and it'll grab the latest version rather than try and load your current version.
And thank you to Ghoul, who just messaged me right now. I've just added a link to the list that'll show you all the servers that are whitelisted in NS2. That is a current, I'm guessing it's Hive telling you right now what servers are whitelisted for you to use.
Yeah, so all of those servers there in that list you can join, and you will be counted towards your commander badge.
Let's see. So just keep playing. Don't worry about too much. How about you'll get it eventually? I like that. Obviously keep playing, but it would be nice, and maybe we can work on that, finding some way for you to track your recorded time of how close you are on getting that achievement. I mean, and that's something kind of cool too that we talked about that I think is.
I'd love to get Steam achievements in the game.
We really want Steam achievements. So we're looking into that. Again, it's not slated for 267, but it is something that we're very interested in. This might sound silly, but I have 5 reinforcement badges and would love a way to show them all, even if just my shadow badge with a number next to it. Yeah, this is my fault. I own every single badge in the game except for the UWE badge and a constellation because I was dumb, and back in NS1 I didn't ever sign up for a forum account in NS1 because I loved the game and I didn't want to say things on the forums about it. I also wasn't really into forums at the time. But I have every other badge besides that. So
I can't believe Wasabi didn't want to talk about NS. I mean,
when we hooked up everything in the game for badges, I got on the first server and I literally, no joke, had like 14 badges. You couldn't even see my name on the scoreboard. So immediately they had Lucas set it that it was like a maximum of 4 badges. And then if you had a Steam badge like I do for PAX, that would also show up. And you can log into your Hive account and set which order you want to show your badges. But I kind of like maybe showing a number that says this person also has other badges. So maybe we'll look into that. We'll add it onto the wish list and see what we think. We'll have a discussion about it. So thanks, Luck Not Skill. Who thought it was a good idea to make pressing Q shut down a server when tab opens console?
I don't do server stuff, so that one's for you.
When tab opens the console, pressing Q. I didn't realize that Q did that. But again, why would you be using the tab feature to get into the console on the server? You
could be remoted in or something.
I mean, yeah, you could be remoting in, but I mean, I'm just saying. The keys are right next to each other. Yeah. So I can have someone look at that. Maybe we can adjust that to be a different key. I'm guessing Q is just something that they could do a quick shutdown, but that seems really odd. I've never realized that Q did that, and I apologize for not knowing that. We will look into it. Okay, guys. So we're going to take 2 more questions here for today's CLOGCAST. Who's it going to be? Any special questions or any things you'd like to know?
Also, tell us what features that you might want to see in the future, and we can have a look and discuss them at some point.
Wow, well, I like it. I guess we've done a good job of answering people's questions.
Maybe 266 was just so awesome that they just were like, whoa.
I don't think I'm going to go that far because, I am very happy with 266. I've played a couple of really fun games in the public. I know a lot of our team has been on there playing with people. I know there's a lot of exciting stuff happening this weekend. And let's see, Luck Not Skill, I'd love to see a more detailed scoreboard. We are right there with you, Luck Not Skill. There will probably be some public input on that very soon. To see what we can do to make that a better experience for you as well. Facepalm got something deleted. I think he got in trouble. Moobot is on the prowl, so be careful. So before we go, we want to highlight some stuff that's happening this weekend because we love NS2. We love everything about it. Ren 26 will be casting tomorrow, Sunday, June 8th, 3 p.m. Eastern U.S., 2100 CEST on twitch.tv/Ren26. That'll be Titus Gaming versus Imagine. This is the final game of week 10 play, and this is going to really decide what is happening for the Premier Playoffs in the NSL Season 4. Looks like also there is a game scheduled tomorrow at the same time between TK Master and HBZ. And that looks to be all that is scheduled for the moment, except for Monday, June 9th. Golden will be casting Singularity versus Narcolepsy at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, god awful early in the morning European time.
And I want to give a quick shout out to Red Dog and Mrs. Red Dog and Pup Red Dog as well. Congratulations,
Red
guys.
Pup. Yep. Congratulations to the Red Dog family on the new baby. We're all very excited, and I can definitely tell you he's been checking it out. You can see he posted a message about 266, and he's definitely keeping in touch as much as he can, and he hopes to be back sometime soon. But obviously, his priority is with his wife and his newborn child. So congratulations to you two. And that does it for us, guys. We hope you've enjoyed another episode of CLOGCAST. Once we have a better idea of what is going to be solid for 267, I think we'll do another one of these. So it'll probably be a couple weeks. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your questions. And we'll see you guys soon.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good one.